And so therefore, with God opening the seven seals, then he ties that to the seventh seal to Revelations 10, 1-7, where in Revelations 10:1, Christ, the mighty angel, comes down. No longer spirit by measure, but now fullness of Christ, meaning what? Logos, which means what? Fullness of word. Not just theology now, the life of the word. Right. The one that followed the children of Israel in the wilderness. The one that spoke to Moses. All of that has returned. And then in 1962, he preached a sermon called The Stature of a Perfect Man. And he says, we need this to get ready for those opening of those seven seals. Right. That amazed me when I ran across that quote. We need this to get ready for that. What was this? To teach you that you need to be conformed to be a certain image of faith, virtue, knowledge, temperance, patience, godliness, brotherly kindness, to be ready for the capstone of Christ himself to incarnate a people. But we're not the proper temple until faith, virtue, knowledge, temperance, patience, godliness, and brotherly kindness are in position. Then we are a living image of the living God that at any time he can step into and declare himself in a full measure. We are not expecting a big super duper revival like the world is talking. Not under grace. The last sign the world received was the Elijah ministry. And of course they're trying to demolish that because they're all saying he went off at the end. When actually that's when he brought the corrective word to bring us back to the purity of the word. But because they love their tradition more than they love the word of God, they all said he went off at the end. He didn't. He brought us the focus right at the end, that we could get geared in and be ready for the second coming of the Lord, which is the meeting in the air. This parousia, it's called, this presence that has come, this logos that has come, I don't think anybody was looking for that. They were all looking for the bodily coming of the Lord. So this was something that came that I don't think any theologians were teaching that this fullness of the Logos would come back to indwell a people. They were expecting that when Christ came back to earth, he'd be in the body with the nail-scarred hand. Not realizing that the climax to the New Testament is Jesus Christ in the form of the bride. And then that group meets him in the air. And the rest who refuse to receive what God has sent with a vindicated ministry, with the opening of the seven seals, and we'll get into the seals on other services, with the opening of the seals, which released Christ after having been, quote, bound by creeds and dogmas for 2,000 years. That releasing is bringing something that God is trying to pour into us. And at the same time, every power of Satan is trying his best to make it as it was in the days of Lot, as it was in the days of Noah, buying, selling, marrying, giving in marriage, being totally caught up in the cares of life. Right. Now you know you're under the influence of that, because it's so easy to be all caught up in the cares of life. And the prophet said the great temptation of the bride in America in this age will be worldliness, caught up in the things of life. He says, not sin, just all wrapped up in natural things.